Today, I decided that I'm going to run a 5K every day for 30 days straight. Definitely the hardest run. I barely finished. My legs are so stiff. So this is the type of challenges you go through when you're doing a challenge like this. Especially with my knee a couple nights was really hurting, and I was thinking maybe I should not do this. And I am struggling. So I'm gonna be turning 25 at the end of this month, and I gained maybe a few pounds in the past few weeks, and I ran a lot last year. I haven't run very much this year, and I know it'd be a pretty big challenge. To be honest, I'm a little bit scared because usually when I start challenges, I don't finish them like most people. But I figure by documenting it and telling my girlfriend to keep me accountable, maybe I'll be able to actually complete it. Because I know it's not just like running a mile every day. Running a 5K every day for 30 days means like averaging 21 miles a week for like 4 weeks. It's like 90 miles in 30 days maybe, or maybe like 92 miles or whatever. I'm gonna have to really step my game up as far as like warming up, stretching, because I don't want to get injured by going from having only run in the past few months really and up to a 5K every single day. That's going to be a challenge on my legs and my shoulders too. I know that my shoulders are going to get sore and potentially hurt at some point, but I am wanting to challenge myself because I want to see at what point I'm going to hit my low point and how I'm going to get through that and push through that and make sure I do it. So the rules are kind of simple for me. I have to average 12 minutes per mile. So that means basically I can't walk. Unless you're a speed walker, you can't walk. So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. So today's day 1. So today is day 3. I'm about to head out. Good running conditions. My legs feel good because I stretched yesterday. I don't always do a great job of like post-run stretching, but I kind of knew yesterday, that I'm gonna have to do better at things. I'm dressed like a Smurf today. So yesterday I think I averaged like 9 minutes and 45 seconds per mile. I could definitely go faster, but my goal right now is just to get it done. I don't want to push myself too much. I'm not trying to do like a sub 25 or sub 23 or whatever. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't hurt myself. But yesterday my right knee was sore last night. A few months ago I was sprinting. I felt something pop in my right knee. So there's a good chance that I might have torn something a while ago, but it was pretty sore last night. So this will be my 3rd 5K in 3 days, and I'm gonna head out. So today is day 4, and I am struggling. I didn't do it in the morning stupidly, and I never work out in the evening anymore, really. I took a nap beforehand, and then I started to walk to go do it. And my headphones weren't working, so I came back because I don't want to run without listening to something. And yeah, it's just like tough. So I just finished up 1 week, 7 days straight, 5K, and I just started tracking my cardiovascular health. I guess you can do that with the watch, but I mean, this week was definitely tough. I think it's probably gonna be my toughest week because by day 3 or 4, I was really struggling. Like the one day that I had to run at night because I didn't do it in the morning, and I was running 11 minute per mile pace. Now, today I just ran 8:45 minute mile pace. So I ran the 5K in 26 minutes and 45 seconds. Felt good. One of the things I also realized is that I shouldn't listen to audiobooks right now until I really get the habit of running, because having music and something to listen to while running is much better when you're starting out running than listening to audiobooks like I've done when I've previously ran before and did some like longer runs. Yeah, super proud of myself to get through 1 week of a 5K every day. I've got 23 more days to go, so basically a little over 3 more weeks to go. Today is probably the coldest that I've been so far because it's not nighttime, the sun's still out, but it's probably 60 degrees. But it's good running weather. So today is day 16, and one thing I have noticed is I think ever since I started taking pre-workout and BCAAs that I don't get sore as much while running and my recovery is much better. So like there was a period where I was sore pretty much every day, and I'm stretching a little bit after working out and I haven't changed that. But since I started taking BCAAs and pre-workout, my recovery has been much better. They have a dog run today. I think people are running with their dogs. There's a lot of dogs around. I am almost halfway through today's run. Beautiful day. It's a little bit chilly. This run sucks. My legs are so stiff. Today I am going for my run. It's day 25. Look at the view we have today. There's mountains in the background. We'll get some birds. It's a good day to run. I'm not really sure which direction I'm gonna run in, but look at those peaks. Today's gonna be day 25, I think. My last day is this Sunday, so this will be essentially my last 6 days of running are gonna be here. So in Variability, by far the most beautiful scenery I've seen while doing this challenge. Huge skate park. So this is the type of challenges you go through when you're doing a challenge like this. The treadmill I was on broke like 3 or 4 times, super frustrated. I was having to keep tracking what I was doing in the short term. It's broken. And now I have to go finish my run in a time that makes sense. So I have to go run outside now, even though it's cold and I'm not wearing a jacket. So now I gotta go on an actual run outside, and it's cold. Definitely the hardest run. I barely finished. I probably did 4 miles, honestly, in the end, because I don't know exactly how much I ran. And of course, when I'm doing a treadmill run, get a little cover for the wind. So my watch is not gonna be great at doing a treadmill run. So I still based it off the watch for time. But yeah, I mean, just one of those things where I was not lacking for motivation, luckily. I got through about a mile on the treadmill, and then it stopped working, so I unplugged it, plugged it back. It broke down 3 or 4 times before it just stopped working at all. And I just made a decision okay, it is freaking cold here, and my watch isn't even correct, but I'm just gonna send it. So I ran uphill, downhill, down a super steep hill, up a really steep hill. I got sprayed with a sprinkler, but I still got through and finished the run. That's day 26. Definitely the most challenging day as far as things getting in your way, but I mean that's kind of that's why running's such a good example for life, is all these challenges, sprinklers, uphill, downhill, treadmill breaking down a bunch of times, and then having to pause to try to explain to the staff member that it's broken, but still being able to get it done, it's a good thing. So yeah, today hopefully is the most challenging as far as obstacles in the way. So just got back from 7 hours in the car driving all around Argentina today. It's 9:30 p.m. day 28, and I got back. I thought I was gonna have the gym. Gym's closed. We have a flight tomorrow, but I'm still getting my 5K in. My legs feel like garbage too because I've been driving all day, but still gonna get this 5K in. Is it windy and cold as fuck? Yep, it is extremely windy and cold, but when you make a goal, you stick to it and you don't make excuses. I can run, so I will run. So today is day 30. Today's the last day. I've done a 5K every day for 29 days. Today's the first day I've not done in Argentina. We just landed in Rio, and kind of feeling like I'm a little bit nervous to go run outside right now because it's nighttime. We got in late, didn't really have time, but yeah, I'm gonna go get number 30 in outside, and hopefully nothing bad happens. That's it. That is 35 Ks in 30 days, and 30 days straight with running a 5K every day. Today was the last day. I just wrapped up the last one. I will continue to run, probably ideally 20 miles a week after this, but what I've been averaging 21, 22. I just won't run every single day. I'll do some longer runs and some shorter runs. But yeah, it feels pretty good with all the traveling, all the stuff going on. A lot of times we can make excuses in life about why we can't do something. And this is just another example of like being in multiple countries, multiple cities, flights, trains, cars, all this stuff. I still get the runs in. I still do it because I know at the end of the day that everything else is just excuses. I'm just making excuses. And hopefully this will roll over a lot into my other life. I'm going to tomorrow do a more of an in-depth review of like how my health was affected and just some takeaways I had from what it's like to actually go from not running to running a 5K every day for 30 days. Because I set a goal, and no matter how much stuff I have going on in my life, I can take 35 minutes to run this 5K. And by completing this and keeping this promise to myself, it's going to flow over into other parts of my life because I've built confidence and trust that when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. So I did it. I ran a 5K every day for 30 days straight. And here are the 5 lessons that I learned from that, and then the 5 ways that my health changed after doing that amount of exercise for 30 days straight. So first, to kind of give a preface, I do have a little bit of experience running, but I think that the most that I ran ever in a month before this was probably about 40 miles. And so I went from not running at all to running a little bit less than 100 miles in a month. And so that was a big jump for me, but I did have a little bit of knowledge. I knew how to stretch for running, and I did play sports in high school and all that stuff, so it wasn't like my first time ever running, but I was not running at all when I started, and I wanted to kind of kickstart my health journey again and challenge myself, and I felt like I was kind of lacking in confidence at the time a little, and so I wanted to challenge myself to go do something. That's why I ended up challenging myself to do that. The first lesson that I learned was that confidence is built off of keeping promises to yourself and others. When you set out for the small goals and bigger goals and you actually start accomplishing them, like you say that you're going to go to the gym today and you actually go to the gym. Those small things built up over time build confidence. And I know a lot of time I've spent about thinking about like what really builds confidence. And I genuinely believe that keeping those small things, like saying I'm going to do this and then actually doing it, is what builds confidence. And then making goals and not sticking to them, or saying that you're going to do something and not doing it, is what creates insecurity, because you don't believe in yourself. You don't feel like other people can believe in you because you say a lot of things that you do not end up doing. The second thing, which is unrelated to the mental part, but the second thing is that stretching really matters. That's my second lesson. I had days where I felt very sore because I didn't stretch properly, and I started to be a little bit scared that I was going to hurt myself because I was starting to feel really beat up. My ankle, my shins, my quads after about a week in. And then that's when I realized like I need to be very consistent about how I warm up and how I stretch. And once I did that, though, by the end of the 30 days, I was a little bit kind of just achy. I felt like I could have done it another 30 days. And I went from not running at all to running, 5K every day for 30 days straight. Taking that time, I think a lot of us neglect things like stretching, but if I didn't stretch at all and tried to do that, I probably would have hurt myself or quit because it hurt too much. Just stretching after I would warm up, and I would do this warm up that I had learned a year ago when I started running more. And that, I think, got me pretty healthy. So the third thing is that Kobe Bryant says this a lot. This always stuck with me. The first time I heard him talk about it was that we set goals and then our brain starts to negotiate with ourselves. Like, oh, well, I set the goal of running a 5K today. I've already done seven days. I can just run a mile today and nobody would know. I could just say that I ran 30, or why am I even doing this? Like, who cares? Nobody cares if I run 35 Ks in a row. Like, your mind starts to negotiate with you. And if you let it, it will negotiate you out of your dreams. So, in the words of Kobe Bryant, no self-negotiation. That's the third lesson here for me. Fourth lesson is that the way that habits work, it becomes incredibly powerful when it becomes easier to do something than not to do something. And in this case, it became easier to run a 5K about 2 weeks in than it was to not do it. It became kind of natural for me. Automatically, I was planning out which part of my day I was going to be able to do it. And if it was raining, I would look to see what on the radar when it was going to stop raining. And it just became automatic for me to be able to do it. Days 3 and 4 were actually the hardest for me. I was just in the middle of building the habit. The first 2 days were easy, but then I started to feel sore, and then I had to run in the evening, which I don't like to do. I like to run in the morning or midday, but I had to run in the evening, so kind of got in my head, and it was really tough to run those days. But then I also got pre-workout, and so just I would take like a little bit just to help give me a little bit of a boost. Running when you're tired or working out when you're tired is really difficult. So having that kind of little boost for me helped me a lot in the other days when I felt tired. And then also the last lesson that I learned was that when we have one thing that we're disciplined with and that anchors us into our day, it rolls over into the other things in our life. So for me, for instance, in this case, I had this 5K, and then that also helped me to be a little bit more disciplined with the way I ate, to start meditating a little bit, to be a little bit more disciplined when I was starting work and all that stuff. So just this one small thing helped me to become more disciplined in the rest of my day, because that one thing was anchoring me. It made it easier to do other things, to be disciplined with other things. So if we have one thing that we focus on, whether it's meditating or taking a walk or eating a healthy meal or going to the gym, if we do it consistently, we stay disciplined with one thing, we are just more likely to do other things that are good for us and to stay disciplined with those two. But I also realized going into it, I didn't want to add on too much. I didn't want to be like, let me run a 5K and do the keto diet and meditate every day and like delete social media for 30 days or whatever. I was just like, I'm just going to focus on the 5K. If I feel like doing other things, I will do it, because very frequently we do too much. I just want to do the 5K, but then we start trying to add it on because of all these things that can like change our life, and it becomes too much to try to be disciplined and to do all of these things at once. So you build one habit at a time and then just kind of build off of that. So those are the 5 lessons that I had, and then now I'm going to go into the 5 ways that my health changed while doing this. Yeah, so I'm just going to do this next part with it actually on my head, because that's what it's meant for, and I think the audio might be better. But here is how my health changed while I was doing this. So I hope you don't mind the headset. But I tracked resting heart rate, or particularly sleeping heart rate variability, my respiratory rate, my Vo2 max, which is the volume of oxygen max, and then my sleep. So those are the main 5 factors that I looked at, and I tracked using my Apple Watch. So I used to use a Whoop band, and then I switched to Apple Watch because Whoop charged $30 a month, and I figured if I should just get an Apple Watch instead of paying that. So that's what I did, and so all of this was tracked through like health in the app in my iPhone, and I guess my Apple Watch. So I'm going to be reading a little bit because it's a lot. There's some numbers and words that I'm not used to saying. So the first thing is my resting or sleeping heart rate went from 45 to 51 per night. So an average of 45 to 51 per night from the month of March, to 41 to 47. So when I was sleeping, my heart rate was going between 41 to 47 during the month of May. So basically before and after. So that's about an 8% difference. And I'm not even sure how important that is, but it clearly showed a difference, so I included it. The heart rate variability actually changed a lot. So this is what, if you use the Whoop like I did, the heart rate variability is one of the main things that it uses to track like your recovery and your overall physical fitness level. So my heart rate variability went from 42 milliseconds to 52 milliseconds. So about a 20% increase in about a month. And now about a month later, my heart rate variability is up to 60. So initially about a 20% difference is now about a 30% difference even a month later. So, and heart rate variability essentially is the, sorry, there's like a fire truck or something. Okay, so anyways, heart rate variability, I think, is essentially like shows how relaxed your body is. If you're really beat up or you're tense or you lack a lot of sleep, your heart rate variability is lower, meaning your body's like basically more focused on like trying to keep you healed or whatever. That's how I understand it, at least. And then when there's a bigger difference in the frequency, like your heart rate has a little bit more variability, that's when your body's a little bit healthier, more relaxed. It's not super stressed, essentially. So my respiratory rate went from 13 to 25 to 12 to 22.5. So about a 9% difference averaged out between the two, like at the low end and at the high end. And I also went from getting 6 hours and 45 minutes of sleep to 7 hours and 5 minutes. So an increase of about 20 minutes per night, which is not huge, about a 4% increase. But you also have to keep in mind, I'm traveling while I'm doing this. I was in 3 different cities, sleeping in different places. So I must have slept in like 5 different beds. And so small increase, but still an increase nonetheless. And it probably would have been more had I not been traveling so much. But this is part of the reason why I did the challenge, so I could see if I could do this while traveling. And then the last thing, this is actually what I first started noticing, was my Vo2 Max went from 53.4 to 57.2, so about a 7% increase. And this was actually the most interesting to me because I started to research like what this even meant. And it's essentially the reason why they used to think before, I think it was Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, they used to say, you make this argument that we couldn't generate enough Vo2 max, so we couldn't get enough oxygen to our cells to make this happen, essentially. So your Vo2 max essentially shows, from my understanding, your ability to generate oxygen, and then therefore like how much effort you can put out, how quickly you can regenerate oxygen for your cells. So that went up about 7%. So overall, depending on which of these factors that you're looking at, and if you have any other ones that I should look at that you think I should talk about or whatever, look at, feel free to drop that comment below. But these are the ones that I found. And so anywhere between a 4% to like a 30% difference from going from basically not working out, I maybe worked out 5 times in the month of March, to running a 5K every day and about 100 miles in 30 days. Majority was in the month of April going into the month of May. So those are my main lessons. If you don't know, like I said, I am a digital nomad. Part of the reason why I challenge myself to do this is because I travel a lot and it's hard to stay consistent while traveling. It's easy for my business, but for everything else, like running and stuff like that, you have different weather conditions. Like, for example, I'm in Fortaleza, Brazil now, and like, you know, I might have a boardwalk, but then I was in kind of a sandy beach town before this, and like running in a sandy beach town is not fun. So kind of doing that. I will continue to post videos, challenges. I'm currently in the middle of meditating every day for 30 days straight and seeing what happens there. And then I'll continue to post like travel hacks and me challenging myself while I travel and build a business and see the world. I am on to 28 countries right now. I've most recently been to Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Mexico, and the US. And I will be going to Europe in about a month. And then after that, I'll be doing Asia, Southeast Asia, all that stuff. And hopefully be at about 50 countries by the end of next year. So see you next time.